Welcome back to the African Messenger. Hello, fans and friends. Thank you for coming back again to our contributors, to our supporters, our sponsors. We want to say thank you very much again. We like to do this all the time at the beginning because it makes sense, to people who are supporters. People continue to contribute a great deal of time to our volunteers. Thank you very much for the support, for all the work you have done, for the articles and everything else they're writing. It's awesome to the guys here around in this very room right here, giving me signals and all kinds of things. I want to say thank you, and I know they're smiling, so that's awesome to see. You guys are making everything happen. Thank you very much. And today we're gonna talk about something that's really important that I find kind of like interesting and very important here, and that is it seems like there's a sense of rush, rushing for something, rushing in life in the new generation, in the youth. There's no more that sense of patience and building slowly and going one step at a time is no longer there. It's like it doesn't exist anymore. It seems like the youth, kind of rushing all the time toward acquiring things without thinking about the consequences and then the next of receiving what is it they're looking for. I met one of those kids out there, and kids is just dreaming about buying a car. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You're working part time, and this kid is a friend, is a brother, from Africa, and is coming here, and he meets a lot of his friends in high school. They're all driving nice cars, and so he wants to get a car. So I thought, no, it would be a great thing to have a conversation with this kid because, based on what I was hearing, and then I'm like, this just is not just happening for just him, it's happening a lot to like other kids, everywhere. Excuse me, that the cold has been attacking me lately, but and you see it happening with a lot of kids, a lot of African kids and a lot of the youth, really, to be honest, is the sense of urgency to get something, even if somebody is not able to afford it. And that's been the issue, and that's what brought the economy down. It was because people were buying things that they could not afford. They could afford to buy it. Maybe they were able to afford to buy that, but to sustain it became a problem. And this is how a lot of young people are making that bad decision. Is you want something real bad and you want to buy it. You want it so bad, but you're not thinking about how are you gonna sustain this thing. It's one thing to buy something, it's another thing to sustain it. So my thing is there's no rush. I mean, you're not competing against anybody. If you're going to school constantly, you're seeing people who are driving nicer cars. They have a BMW, a Mercedes Benz, or something new. There's no rush. It's okay. There's nothing to feel embarrassed about catching a bus. Nothing is wrong with that. It's okay to catch a school bus. I mean, like if you think about it, back in Africa, how many countries could really boast like we have a school bus that takes students to school? No, they don't. Kids are walking every single day. Like they walk. Like I mean, like some people are walking for an hour, going to school like 2 hours each day. An hour to go and an hour to return. These are things that you need to understand. And I know a lot of you and some of you are really can relate to this. That at some point in my life I had to walk to school. And sometimes without even shoes. And so when you look and you think about those days and you tell yourself, it's better now. You can get a school bus. You can go, to school. You get a ride and they drop you right in front of their house. It's a great thing. And so there's no shame in that. You should not be ashamed. There's not even it doesn't even have an explanation for anybody to be ashamed of that. Because I know a lot of kids who were born in America themselves that have been riding the school bus forever. They're not envying for anything. And so, if you're working for that minimum wage, even if you're going to Portland Community College, you still get a discounted a discounted bus pass if you go to Portland State or any other college around the city. I mean, there is no need for rush. You need to think about the future first. And this is what's killing a lot of people out there, especially young people. The rush to leave for today, not thinking about tomorrow. Like what's going to come tomorrow? What if I lose the job? Do I have enough in the saving that I can pay rent for 2, 3, 4 months, waiting for another job or waiting for an unemployment check? Because it takes time. It's not like you're gonna go tomorrow and then fill out an employment papers and then suddenly you start getting money. You need to start thinking about these things. They're really important to you. That BMW you're gonna buy, it may cost you maybe $3, 4 thousand. The used one is great. It's gonna give you a good feeling when you're starting to drive it. But you need to ask yourself, can I sustain this thing? That's always a question I ask yourself is, can you sustain it? Can you sustain its maintenance? You don't want to find yourself in a situation that you bought it because you're pressured by your environment or the people that you hang out with to get a car and you can't sustain it. And guess what? The money you could be saving, you've just flushed it really down the toilet. You've just wasted it when you could have saved that money and use it for something good. See, life does not come easy. Whoever lied to you that coming to America, everything suddenly turns into good things, and the heavens start showering with money, which is always kind of like that misconception. I mean, it's what's there. It's not true. You have to build your life. You have to work hard for everything you get, but you need to learn not to rush. To learn to leave for tomorrow. You need to learn not to leave for today just for today. You get a paycheck, you don't have anything in the savings, and the money just goes to clothes and shoes and and cars. And I'm not advocating against those things. I think they're great. Everybody have to enjoy what they're working for, but you enjoy what you're working for, but you're also thinking about tomorrow. I mean, like really, you're enjoying what you're working for, but you also think, okay, what's gonna be tomorrow? Especially when you're working for somebody else, you don't have that guarantee, and especially when it's just right at the beginning of your life. If you haven't even started your life yet, if you're still living under somebody else's roof, if you're still working for a minimum wage, if you're still going to college, this is your first year going to college, I mean, you haven't started anything. You still got 4 years before you graduate with your 4 year degree, and then you can even start. That's when you can say, well, life now starts, because if you can't finish your education, and all, most likely you will always have like a minimum wage job, and sometimes not a full-time guaranteed, unless, something happens where you become, a business person or something. And you see where I'm going with this. You get the point. My point is this: there's no need to rush in life. Do not rush your life. Don't rush because somebody said, because a friend has this, so I want to have a car too. Because when I go to play to the park, when everybody else leave, they drive their car and I go and catch a bus. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with catching a bus. I think you're even lucky to catch a bus. And this is something we need to understand. Is I'm speaking from experiences because I've seen that, and I saw that a long time ago, right at the beginning. When my friend were kind of making fun of me and laughing and saying, "You need to get a car. You need to get a car, man." And nobody wanna talk to you, and nobody wanna come close to you. It's okay, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You need to understand this. You're doing this for yourself. Don't do it for others. Because you can enjoy today's glory, but then you're going to be miserable tomorrow. Which one do you want? Do you want to save for tomorrow, or do you want to live for today? It's you can enjoy yourself like in the process. You can you make something, you enjoy a little bit. For example, if you make something, instead of enjoying like 40% of what you make, you enjoy 10%, and then you save that other 30%, right? You wait and wait and save and save. After 2, 3, 4 years, you can sit down and say, you know what? I've saved a little bit, enough of a security for me. Now I can buy the car, and then I can sustain, and I can do things. And now I can buy myself the nice clothes. Now I can buy myself those nice shoes. But if you want to enjoy all of your savings today, all of what you could be saving today, and then tomorrow that job ends, you're going to find yourself on the street. And I know these are things that a lot of people know. They already know. But it seems like a lot of young people are ignoring it, like thinking life is always gonna be bringing. No, it's not like that. You need to be able to say, I'm gonna be living for tomorrow. We need to live for tomorrow. You need to start living for tomorrow. We can enjoy today, but also thinking about what is tomorrow. Living for tomorrow is really, really, really important. And this you need to understand, and I'm pleading with you because I know how challenging that is to be around friends who have things and you not having that thing, and you wanting to have that thing. You want it to have it so badly. You really want to have it. And you have all these pressure and people in your ears constantly, non-stop. You know what? You can be yourself. And aside, I like that commercial I always watch that says, above the influence. If you let somebody comes and feed you and clothes you, they're telling you everything and doing everything, you have stopped being yourself. But the minute you decide being yourself, you're not gonna be living on those influences. No, you are gonna be living on yourself. You're gonna find yourself that you've saved enough. You've been so smart, and that 5 years down the road, the same person who was boasting in a BMW is actually catching a bus, and you are driving a car. You know why? Because they were not living for tomorrow. They were living for today. They get a check, it's all going into useless things. They get a check, it goes into useless thing. Even if putting a $50 on the side has become a problem, they don't have time to save because friends are influencing them because they're wasting their money into going to club, into buying useless thing. You need to leave for tomorrow. Tomorrow is so important for you to ignore it. Start thinking about leaving for tomorrow because it is very important and crucial. Your life depends on how you decide. Yeah, you make decisions today. If you make bad decisions today, they're gonna catch up with you tomorrow, and you won't have anybody else to blame because it will be your decisions to make. So we need to understand. You need to understand this really clearly. Stop being pressured and stop living by what you're hearing, by what you're being told by your friends, by all the pressure and the influences, and start living by your principles, by your own personality, by thinking about yourself tomorrow. What you want today, you can work for it and take time. They say good things take time. And it's true, good things take time. Patience is a virtue. It's really important to be patient in everything. And so I'm urging you, I'm pleading with you, I'm asking you to start living for tomorrow. There's no need for a rush. Live for tomorrow, and you're gonna see tomorrow is gonna be great. I always say this. When I started, I was working at the store. I had this guy. They used to drive, and I used to make fun of me all the time. I was riding a bike, and they would tell me how stingy I was and how I couldn't get this, I couldn't buy a car and stuff like that. And I would say, okay, great. Today, that same guy, I saw him. He's at the bus stop, sitting there, waiting, and then I turn around, he goes like, oh, is that you? Yes, that is me. And he couldn't believe it. But you know what? This is 8 years later. He was leaving for that day. I was leaving for tomorrow. And so my advice is leave for tomorrow. Don't leave for today only. Leave for today, enjoy, but think about tomorrow because it's important. Again, there is no rush. Don't be pressured into doing things that are going to put you into a bad situation. Do things that will put you in good situation for tomorrow because tomorrow is what matters. From the African Messenger Studio, this is Mr. Gloria and Gazao saying peace to you on this amazing day. Thank you.